Join me as I dive into the world of tax savings for hairdressers and beauty therapists and see if I can uncover the biggest deductions you might be missing out on. As a hairdresser or beauty therapist, you're likely no stranger to the long hours, hard work, and dedication required to make your clients look and feel their best. But when it comes to tax time, many beauty professionals are leaving money on the table by not taking advantage of the deductions available to them. It's time to change that. One of the biggest challenges beauty professionals face when it comes to taxes is simply not knowing what can be deducted. You might be thinking, can I really claim that as a tax deduction? Or what if I get audited? This fear of the unknown can lead to playing it safe and not claiming the deductions you're entitled to, which means you're paying more tax than you need to. Many beauty professionals also struggle with record keeping and tracking their expenses throughout the year. It's easy to let receipts pile up or forget to log those small purchases, but these small expenses can add up to big savings. On top of all this, there's the fear of making mistakes. What if you claim something incorrectly or miss a crucial step in the process? The thought of dealing with the tax office can be daunting, and many beauty professionals would rather just avoid it altogether. You can claim car expenses, clothing and laundry expenses, tools and equipment, and self-education expenses. Let's discuss these in detail. First is car expenses. Unfortunately, you can't deduct the cost of your regular commute to and from work on your taxes, even if you have to work outside of normal business hours. This includes trips like late-night shifts or weekend work. These expenses are not considered eligible for tax deductions. However, there are other work-related expenses that may be deductible, so be sure to keep track of those for potential tax savings. It's always a good idea to consult with a tax professional for specific advice on what you can and cannot claim on your taxes. If you use your own car for work-related purposes, you may be eligible to claim a deduction for the costs incurred. This includes driving between different jobs on the same day, like going from your hairdresser job to a second job with a different employer. You can also claim deductions for traveling to and from different workplaces owned by the same employer. For example, if you work at multiple salons owned by the same person, you can deduct the cost of driving between them. Additionally, if you travel directly from home to a different workplace, like going to a salon other than your usual one for the day, you can also claim a deduction. Remember to keep track of kilometers traveled and any related expenses for each trip to ensure you can accurately claim the deduction at tax time. Second is clothing and laundry expenses, including footwear. Unfortunately, you can't deduct the cost of buying, renting, fixing, or cleaning regular work clothes, even if your job requires you to wear them and you only wear them while working. Regular work clothes are just your everyday outfits, like black pants or a black skirt. So, even if your boss asks you to wear these clothes for work, you can't claim them as a deduction on your taxes. You may be able to get some money back for buying, renting, fixing, or washing clothes if they are protective clothing or a compulsory uniform. You can claim for clothing that keeps you safe from getting hurt or sick at work, like an apron or clothes that you are told you have to wear as part of a uniform by your job's rules, and it's easy to tell that it's the uniform for your workplace. Basically, if you need special clothes for work or have to wear a certain outfit, you might be able to get a refund for it. If your employer covers the cost of these expenses, you can't deduct them on your taxes. Essentially, if your job pays for something, you can't double dip and try to claim it as a deduction. Now comes tools and equipment expenses. If you use tools or equipment for your work, like a wax pot, hair cutting tools, or hair styling tools, you can claim the cost on your taxes. This also includes insurance for your tools and equipment, as well as any repairs needed. If a tool or piece of equipment costs more than $300, you can claim a deduction for the cost over a number of years. If it costs $300 or less, and isn't part of a set that costs more than $300, you can claim an immediate deduction for the whole cost. Just make sure to keep track of your receipts and any documentation for your tax records. You can't have deductions for tools and equipment that are provided by your employer or someone else. If you happen to use the tools and equipment for personal reasons as well, you can only claim the part that is related to your job. You will also need to split the cost of any repairs between using them for personal reasons and for work. Let's discuss self-education and study expenses. If you're taking a course that directly helps you in your current job, you can get a deduction on the expenses. This could include things like learning new techniques for your profession or staying up to date on the latest trends. As long as the course is going to improve your skills and potentially increase your income, you can claim it as a deduction. For example, a hairdresser taking an advanced coloring course or a makeup artist learning about current makeup trends could qualify for this deduction. So if you're investing in your education to boost your career, remember to keep track of those expenses for tax time. If the study you're doing is only loosely related to your current job or is meant to help you switch careers, you can't deduct the cost. For example, if you work as a hairdresser, you can't deduct the expenses of learning to be a makeup artist. ATO wants to make sure that deductions are for job-related education that directly benefits your current work. Grooming expenses. Unfortunately, you can't deduct any personal grooming expenses such as haircuts, makeup, skincare products, or any other beauty products on your taxes, even if you need to look presentable for work. These types of expenses are considered private and not eligible for deductions. It's important to keep this in mind when planning your budget and expenses for the year. Unfortunately, there are certain expenses that you aren't able to claim on your taxes, even if you need them for work. These include things like music subscriptions, childcare costs, fines, flu shots, and other vaccinations. And if your employer covers the cost of these expenses, you can't claim them as deductions either. Information provided in this video is for general purposes only. If you're a hairdresser or beauty therapist looking to take control of your tax strategy, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. What are some of your favorite tax tips or questions? And if you want to learn about other professions' tax deductions, be sure to check out my other videos. Thanks for watching.